I just finished watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and this is what I think of it. Now, before we get into the runtime of the movie, everything what happens in the movie, and the good and the bad, what I'm actually going to do is point out a few things that we're going to talk about in this video, and at the top left and right will be the good and bad of the movie. Instead of splitting the video into the sections of here's the good stuff, here's the bad stuff, I'm going to go through the entire movie, not obviously the entire movie, but and to see what's good and bad. One thing I need to mention is that the Spinosauruses were really underused in the movie. And I'm saying some bad stuff now, but don't worry, there is some good stuff. Well, there's a lot of good stuff in the movie. Yeah, the Spinosauruses were underused. The mutants didn't really feel too much of a threat. They definitely could have been used a bit more. The Velociraptor scene was actually fine. I was okay with it only having a few seconds of screen time. The run time. I mean, the beginning after the prologue sort of bit, after the prologue, you see them at at New York or wherever they are, going to recruit Dr. Henry Loomis and all that. That scene is way too quick. It cuts way too fast. And after the sea scene, which is way too long, it cuts to land and air, but that's the land and air scenes, and that's way too quick. And then it goes straight into the final battle. So let's review this movie. So the movie starts off with a monkey on screen. Yeah, a monkey. By the way, spoilers. Woo woo woo. Anyway, so the starts off with a monkey. Literally probably taken from a documentary or something, but I'm fine with that. And then the InGen helicopter flies over the top. Now it does state 17 years ago, which is 2010 or something. It states 17 years ago when the D-Rex was created. So we're basically getting a flashback scene to the D-Rex. Then we cut to everybody in the lab, working on the Mutadons, the D-Rex. There's also a two-headed Triceratops, which is really nice attention to detail. And yeah, everybody, you see the, open the door for me guy as well. Anyway, he's eating a Snickers bar. Now, I do need to mention this as the whole movie is caused by a Snickers bar. So the guy eats the Snickers bar and goes into the D-Rex chamber so they can check on it or whatever they're doing. He drops the wrapper and it goes through the door. The air from the door sucks the Snickers bar into the door, and the door malfunctions, thus leading to everybody trying to evacuate the chamber. The guy getting stuck in there, and then after he begs for his life, the D-Rex picks him up, turns him around, and he gets eaten very brutally, the same way Martin Krebs actually dies in this movie. So yeah. His death was actually pretty enjoyable. The prologue was so good, but we did see too much of the D-Rex. Definitely too much of the D-Rex was shown there, but for me, it's not too much of an issue as I already know what the D-Rex does look like. Anyway, then we cut to on the mainland with Zora Bennett and all that, and Martin Krebs. Yeah, those scenes are pretty good. You see a Apatosaurus in the middle of the road. Martin Krebs is in his car. And then Zora gets into Martin Krebs' car to talk about, well, whatever they want to talk. I think Martin Krebs is, recruiting Zora for the mission. She doesn't know about it yet. And then after that, they cut straight to recruiting Henry Loomis and then straight to Duncan, which was definitely a bit fast for me. I wouldn't say it's too bad, as there's definitely way more, there's definitely more bad stuff in the movie that I want to talk about. So it's not too bad, but they could have definitely had a bit more runtime there. So yeah. After that, sorry guys, they go to recruit Duncan, and then you can see a fisherman get a Dunkleosteus head and put it on the back of his fishing boat. The Dunkleosteus head is huge. I'll put an image on screen of what it kind of looked like. It's basically just the Jurassic World Evolution one, but just the head. It's literally just a basic Dunkleosteus head. And the actual head of this Dunkleosteus, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, is actually it's ginormous, at least 5 to 10 foot. So yeah, the Dunkleosteus head was really, really big. It's just so awesome to see a Dunkleosteus, another marine reptile. It was only the head though, sadly. I really hope we get a figure for this from Mattel. That's definitely a really good thing in the movie. Then after that, we cut to, we cut to the ship where they're all on the ship and all that. You also see Bobby Atwater too. After that, what you do actually see, we actually cut to the Delgados, I believe, where they're on their boat and stuff. The Xavier character definitely got annoying at some times. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but they're trying to portray him as like a cool teenager or something like that. It was just a bit awkward at times. So yeah, there was nothing really happened when they were on the boat. And then the Isabella Delgado, whatever they're called, she looks at the sea, and you see two Spinosaurus sails, and then it cuts back to the main characters on the boat. Obviously they're just talking about the species and all that. And what's really annoying is that Bobby Atwater says that he's gonna kill the dinosaurs when he encounters them, and Dr. Henry Loomis says no, you should never kill a dinosaur. And then Scarlett Johansson agrees with the Dr. Henry Loomis character, or should I say Zora Bennett. But then later on, Zora Bennett kills the Mutodon. So that just contradicts everything she was saying. I mean, I guess a Mutodon and it's kind of a threat, but if you weren't going to kill a they still have feelings. But then again, she did say that she'd rather she'd rather take the dinosaur's life than risk her own life. Anyway, then after that, they capture the not capture, but they rescue the Delgados finally, and then after they rescue the Delgados, actually the Mosasaurus causes the Delgado ship to crash, or whatever little canoe they had. And then you see the Mosasaurus again attacking the boat with the mission specialist Zora Bennett and all that. They're attacking the boat. Zora Bennett tries to take the shots and misses like 2 or 3 times, I think, or actually no, she misses once. And then I don't know, not Isabella Delgado, but her older sister is hanging off the boat, and then Martin Krebs just leaves her there to die. Or she doesn't die, so that kind of builds on the development of Martin Krebs being the villain character. Obviously, just he cares about the DNA samples and all that, and the money it's going to get. Zora Bennett kind of cares about the same thing though, but she does develop a bit more later into the story. Also, Bobby Atwater. Yeah, the death for Bobby Atwater. He gets dragged off of the boat, and the Spinosaurus just takes him away. It wasn't even a quick death. He just took Bobby Atwater and swum around with Bobby Atwater in his mouth. So definitely kind of a gruesome death. There's also some random woman on the boat as well. I believe is French as well, so maybe translates what Leclerc is saying. So yeah. Anyway. We get onto the actual island. They crash land on the island. The Delgados are separated from the other team, or whatever you want to call them. And then you see a Spinosaurus sleeping on the beach. It gets up and goes into the water and then kills that French woman, or whatever, Leclerc's translation person, or whoever she is. And then Leclerc actually picks up what she was wearing or something, all covered in blood. Definitely a gruesome scene. And then, I couldn't wait to see the Spinosauruses in the rest of the movie and coming onto the land. They didn't come onto the land. One tiny scene of the Spinosaurus on sleeping, getting up, and going back into the water. I'm all for Spinosaurus scenes in the water, but the Spinosaurus just got so underused in the movie. It was hyped up to be pretty much a protagonist of the movie, especially with the marketing and all that, and the toys, and it didn't really deliver too much. I mean, I had high expectations for it. And Spinosaurus finally coming back, and it was definitely underused. You only saw the full body for 5 seconds of screen time. The sea scene was way too long for what it was. I mean, you could have just had it could have been way shorter, and they honestly should have just had the Spinosauruses for a few moments in the sea, and then the rest of the Spinosauruses come onto the land. But the sea scene was dragged out way too long. Anybody can fight me on that in the comments. It was dragged out way too long, and anybody can fight me in the comments on this. The Spinosaurus was way too underused. Anyway, then after they go into the jungle, where we are meted with the prehistoric snake / Titanoboa in the swamp, which is such a good scene. I mean, you don't see it that much, but the way it builds up, like the snake kind of goes by Leclerc's leg, and then after that, you see it like go past Martin Krebs and all that, and they talk about. And then Dr. Henry Loomis talks about humans are like the predominant species on Earth, and we only think we're the predominant species. And he talks about 99% of species on Earth, species on Earth have died out or something. Anyway, then it doesn't really add too much to the story. Actually, it kind of does, because Martin Krebs says he's really intelligent, so that means he'll survive, and we all know what happens to him. He dies. So yeah. After that, it cuts to the Delgados again, where they're exploring some sort of cave. Not much happens there, except when Xavier says he's going to take a piss. And then after that, you see the Velociraptors, the orange one and the one we got on the promo images, the grey and blue one with the black stripes, the one that looks like the JP3 Raptor. You kind of see them, but it's in the darkness. They creep up on Xavier while he's taking a pee, and then the Mutadon just flies in. I thought this thing wasn't gonna fly too high, anyway, but or fly at all. I thought it was just gonna maybe like glide a little bit, but not really take off all the way into the flipping stratosphere. But yeah, this thing can fly really, really. I mean, this thing is just crazy. Anyway, the Mutadon flies in and just literally gets the first Velociraptor, throws it, gets the other one, picks it up, and just flies away with it. I believe the orange Velociraptor survived. Anyway, after that, I believe we cut back to the main cast with the Titanosaurus scene, which I don't like the Titanosaurus, but the scene was just so good. The original music and all that in the background, it was just whoa, it was a really great scene, and it would have been a 10 out of 10 if Titanosaurus wasn't there, because I don't really like the Titanosaurus, but what a scene that was. Yeah, and then after that, you also see throughout the movie a giant salamander like crawling on a tree or something. I thought it was Kulasuchus at first, but I don't know what this thing is. I thought it was like the perdipus or something like that. But you don't really see it too much. I mean, you do get a good look at it, but it's in a blink or you miss it kind of situation. I definitely need to go back and see the movie again. Anyway, then we get into it cuts to the land scene very, very quickly. I believe it's the land scene, then the river raft scene, or the river raft scene, then the land scene. And if you've seen the TV spots and trailers, that's the entire river raft scene. There are no surprises for the raft scene, except you see a bit more of the dead Parasaurolophus. And the Dilophosaurus was actually handled well. Yes, it got like a few seconds of screen time, but it was actually handled well in the movie. I'd rather have a few seconds of screen time than have Chris Pratt strangle one. Anyway, literally has Pratt in the name. So yeah, after that we have the air scene. It cuts way too quickly. I mean, it's just that was a bit too rushed. The fight, and then boom, it's just the dark. And then after the air scene, the land, land and air scene. Boom, we're in the not final battle, but we're in the final act of the movie at nighttime. So yeah, that went a bit too fast for my liking. The sea scene was way too short. I mean, way too long. Definitely dragged out. Um, so yeah, then after that, we have the air scene with the Quetzalcoatlus. Now they climb up the ancient temple thing, and Dr. Henry Loomis and Zora Bennett go down. Leclerc goes down as well. And then they go to get the sample from the egg and all that. And then the Quetzalcoatlus flies in. Now then we cut back to Duncan and Martin Krebs at the top, and guess what you see? The little Anurogonathus, which actually looks really good. You can't really see it too much. I didn't really see the head too much, but it goes over some rocks and then flies down some sort of ditch. And then Duncan says to Martin, "Come look over here." And then before you know it, Leclerc is in trouble. Actually Leclerc, very heroic. He throws something at the Quetzalcoatlus so Zora Bennett and Dr. Henry Loomis don't die. And then what happens to Leclerc? You see his death on screen. The Quetzalcoatl, you literally, they pull Leclerc up. Duncan and Martin look away for a second. They look back, and the Quetzalcoatl is just standing there with Leclerc, in the Quetzalcoatlus' beak. Leclerc is still alive at that point when he's in the mouth. And then the Quetzalcoatlus is like chomping down on Leclerc. But obviously the Quetzalcoatlus has no teeth, so it's just Leclerc's death is just so gruesome. He's still alive when the thing was eating him. And then he gets like swallowed down the thing. Duncan though, Duncan looks so frightened by Leclerc's death. And also you kind of see I know this is really gruesome and weird, but you kind of see the fat on Leclerc's body get squished. Oh, it's just so weird. I'm not weird, but so gruesome. Anyway, after that, we're already in the final act, kind of. We have the Mutadon scene and the gas station and all that. Honestly, I didn't really like that scene too much. Martin Krebs just drives away with the case. And then after that, when the Delgados and the main car, or, the Delgados and the other people, bump into each other again, they finally found each other. The oldest, Isabella Delgado's oldest sister, tries to basically kill Martin Krebs or fight him because apparently Martin Krebs didn't save her when they were on the boat, which I can definitely see. Yeah, Martin Krebs did leave her to die, or try to leave her to die. But then again, I mean, is it a villain move or villain sort of type? Yeah, kind of. He could have saved her easily, but just let her go into the water. Anyway, then she says he tried to kill him and all that, and then Zora's like blah 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 blah, whatever she says. And then Martin Krebs says, obviously she's lying and all that, which kind of sounded a bit plain, like saying, oh yeah, obviously she's lying. What did he say? He says that, oh yeah, she's lying. I tried to save her. There was a barrier in my way or something. Anyway, he ties the case with the DNA to him, and then the Mutadons attack and all that. Not too much going on there. And then the Mutadon throws Martin Krebs onto the car, or not onto the car, to the side of the car. Martin Krebs goes into the car and just drives off. Then after that, um, you get the helicopter that's coming to rescue them, comes, and then the D-Rex goes right by and smashes into the helicopter. This thing's head is as big as the helicopter, but the D-Rex was very no, I wouldn't say underused, but I mean it definitely wasn't too much hype building onto it. That if this thing wasn't in the movie, it wouldn't have like changed anything plot wise or anything. Yeah, the lore was maybe a little bit tampered with, but not too much. There wasn't really any more lore added. This is basically Jurassic Park 3, but done a bit better. But I still like Jurassic Park 3, so I'm not sure. The Spinosauruses, man, like what were they doing with the Spinosauruses in this movie? They're so good. They had a good design for the Spino, but only the shortest scene it gets. Actually no, it gets a long scene. Or it doesn't get a long scene, but it's there, but it just gets one cool sort of scene. Anyway, back to the Distortus Rex after it kills the people in the helicopter. It's ginormous, but then it goes small again. Obviously, they made it a bit bigger to make the scene look cooler, as its head was as big as the helicopter. Yeah, nobody's really surprised seeing this freak. Then it's and then what's really good is that the chamber that the D-Rex was in, at the beginning of the movie, obviously now it's all crumbled and all that. The D-Rex writing on one of the little screens flashes saying D-Rex, and then the D-Rex like walks by, so the audience knows what was walking by. It flashes saying D-Rex on one of the little screens in the lab and all that. And then after that, obviously, you see the D-Rex again. Then Martin Krebs is driving his car back down to the helicopter, even though the helicopter's obviously gone, but he doesn't know that. Ankylosauruses kind of throw him off course. The Ankylosaurus design didn't really change too much. Basically, the Jurassic Park 3 one. And then, yeah, Martin Krebs goes straight into the D-Rex's fist. The D-Rex moves really slow. And then, instead of jumping off the car, he decides to just go around the car a little bit. He just, like, goes onto the car and just sits there for a bit, moves a little bit, when he could clearly escape, but obviously he has to die. The D-Rex picks him up with one hand and like squeezes him, not to the point of death, but you can see he's suffering, holds him, and then the D-Rex opens its mouth and then looks at Martin Krebs and opens his mouth and goes, nah. What was that sound? And then Martin Krebs is like, please no, and then just bites Krebs' head off, and then throws the body, and then his hand that was attached to the briefcase falls down and lands near Zora Bennett, and Zora Bennett obviously picks up the case and like flicks his hand away. And then Duncan leads the D-Rex away with light, and obviously, and then Duncan literally starts laughing and lying down and letting the D-Rex kill him. He just lies down and starts laughing, saying, or not saying, but he just starts laughing and he's like, just kill me at this point, as he's suffered through so much, lost Leclerc, maybe his best friend, he lost his boat, he just doesn't care. And then he actually, Duncan, we all think he's dead, and then he survives. He shoots a flare to signal he's alive. The D-Rex kind of does a Scorpius Rex. It goes on two legs, roars, and then runs off into the jungle. Yeah, the D-Rex survives. Not what I was expecting. No final battle, no Spinosaurus dies. Definitely, I did not like that from the movie. Yeah, definitely. It was a bit rushed in some aspects, and there are a few other little nitpicks I would probably picked up on, I picked up on as well. But yeah, honestly, this movie out of 10, yeah, I went into this movie thinking of 8.2 out of 10. Out of theater reaction, 8.3, 8.5, then it went up to 9, back down to 8.5, and then when I got home, I was like, oh yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. I didn't really like it too much. But now my honest rating of this movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, it is directed differently. The scenes are very stylized to Gareth Edwards. It's definitely a different sort of cinematography. I don't know what the word is again. Yeah, choreography or something like that. it's definitely different. Is obviously, if this was directed by the same director and all that, and with the same old characters, Owen and Claire, then this would feel more like a not more like a Jurassic movie. It's just different. It's good. It's just not what we're used to. That's why it caught me by surprise. How it was shot and all that. But yeah, out of 10, this movie, I'm thinking between 8 or 9, probably an 8.5 out of 10. I know it's definitely higher than a 7.5 and definitely lower than a 9, so I'm just going to go with around 8.5 for this movie. 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Now, my official ranking for all these movies are Jurassic Park's obviously number 1, then Jurassic Park 3, then the original Jurassic World, then Rebirth is so close behind the original Jurassic World, then The Lost World, Fallen Kingdom, then Dominion. I might switch Jurassic World, Rebirth, and Jurassic World. Yeah, so my top 3 are Jurassic Park 3, then Rebirth, or maybe my third one's Jurassic World. It's really hard to decide between the two. And yeah, this movie, really good. I definitely recommend it to the fan. It doesn't add too much lore-wise. It feels like a really soft reboot, if you kind of know what I mean. It's definitely a bit of a soft reboot for the franchise. Now they need to stop making the movies. It's finished now. Come on. All right, the D-Rex lives its life in the jungle and then dies off eventually drinking tea or whatever it wants to do. It's just done. There's no more I don't think you need for this movie. And yeah, honorable mentions. An Oroganathus, prehistoric snake, whatever that salamander is, please help me. Well, I don't know what that was. Just someone helping me in the comments. I need to know. Kulasuchus, maybe? I really want to know. And then the Dunkleosteus. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. My opinions might change slightly. Then again, we're probably going to get theory videos from Shadows and Swerve and all that, and Best in Slot. So I'm going to watch those to see, or when the theory videos come out, as it might change my opinion on the movie slightly and the way I view it. Thank you guys for watching. My official rating for now is 8.5 out of 10. It might change a bit more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.